Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of the skills series. So this is going to be an ongoing series helping you to be a better rider. Hopefully we'll be able to get a bigger reach. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give us a big like. This technique is the most important technique you will ever learn. And if you don't get this right, it makes a massive impact in your riding going forwards. So I'm going to introduce you to the happy dog. So are you guilty of one of those body positions? I want you just to pause this video right now. Go outside, get your camera and just video yourself. Get your wife or your kids or just put your phone on the side and go and check your own body position. Did it look similar to that? If that was one of you, then you know that you need to listen to the next 10 minutes of this video. First things first is just working through where we actually have to be whilst on the bike. If you look back at the kind of video if you are stacked, which means your shoulder, elbow and wrist are directly on top of each other, you can really suffer from this like forward pitch, which is only going to put you into a situation of braking more, and it's also going to put a lot of stress on that thumb. So what I want to introduce you to is the beach ball. So what is the beach ball, you ask? So what I want you to do is sit on your bike, and I want you to think that you are reaching around an actual beach ball, and that's really going to set you into this nice D shape. And if you can see from the side, my elbow is staggered just slightly back from the wrist, which means that any impacts that come through from the kind of front tire now actually come through the chest rather than the rotation of the shoulder. Beach ball, really important. Get that nice shape. Next thing you really want to be thinking about is your chin. So a lot of people I see either ride too far forward or too far back on their bikes. If your hips are backwards, you are generally holding onto the bike, which makes like cornering and just being dynamic really difficult. So what I want you to think about doing is keeping a nice D shape, big beach ball, keep that chin above that stem, really relax your weight into the feet. Chin above the stem, eyes forwards, nice big D shape. Now we're going to move on to the torso, the hips and those legs. If you see this video, and I call this sad dog, and basically it is when your hips are tucked under, which really brings those knees forwards and brings your chest up quite high. So what I want you to be thinking about is happy dog. Insert happy dog here. What is happy dog? Essentially what I want you to think about is, what does a sad dog do? A sad dog has its tail tucked under and it feels really sorry for itself. But what we want is a nice happy dog. So we really want to think about unwinding the hips out. How does it look on the bike? So if you find that your hips are tucked under, you really want to be thinking about tucking them out, getting that nice straight back, heavy feet and light hands. The best way of actually going through this is taking away the bike and really thinking about what we do with our feet. When you stood and your feet are facing forwards, we know that our body is facing forwards. But when we're on the bike, we're actually staggered. And this is the important bit. So what tends to happen is your back foot, whether it be your right or left, your hip can get a little bit lazy and you start getting this angle, which plays a massive point, especially when you start going onto like jumps and drops or going into corners. How many of you, and please comment down in the actual comment box, can corner really well one way, but cannot corner the opposite direction? This might be the key that will really help you, especially when you are practicing jumps and drops or those toe to trails. So what I want you to think about doing is standing in your normal riding position, getting your weight dropped into a nice soft knee bend, and then really thinking about where your center point is and make sure that those hips are square. Just think that whichever direction your hips are facing is where your center line is going to be, and your bike will always follow that line. So that brings us onto the most important point Well, the second most important point really, and that's the hinge. A lot of people tend to just hinge forwards, which puts a lot of weight onto the actual hands and starts lifting the heels up off those pedals. How many of you have like pedal slips? Because I bet a lot of you have already gone and brought some clips because of those kind of feet slipping. And a lot of the time it's because of this hinge forward is taking the weight off the feet, and this is where they actually start moving. What we're going to do is just sit the hips back slightly, bring that chest down a little bit, and then come into our nice attack kind of position. I call this first position. And I call it first position because it's the first thing you should be thinking about before you even drop into that gnarly trail. Okay, so a lot of you guys will already have a habit, as I've already spoken about. So a real nice way of thinking about this next bit is doing a reset. And by a reset, I mean stand nice and tall on your bike, straight arms and straight legs. Relax those heels down and put your weight into your feet and then hinge into this nice kind of position, the happy dog. We put our foot on the pedals, stand nice and tall, reset. No weight in the hands, but we've got this nice flat back. The weight is all the way in the feet, meaning the bike is really nice and loose and nimble. One really important thing is when you are riding is that your weight is centralized on the bike. If it stays centralized, your bike will feel really nice and really poppy, and those trails will feel absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we've got our head sorted, we've got our chin sorted, we've got our elbows sorted, we've got our hips sorted. So what do you think's next? I hope you're screaming at the screens right now saying knees, because knees are really, really important. We see time and time and time again that people's knees are way over the toes. And if you stand there now, literally stand up, stick your feet in your trail position, and push your knees forwards and keep going and keep going, eventually you are going to fall forwards. So why does it make it okay to do that whilst you are riding? The truth is, it doesn't. If you are riding a full suspension, you can really think about just having a slight knee bend and be quite strong in those legs. Not stiff, but just strong. You really think like that you are bouncing on a trampoline. When you land on that trampoline, you don't let your knees give way. You've actually got quite some strength in the kind of thighs, and you want that kind of stability. If you are riding a hardtail, you can be a little bit softer in those knees, but you still don't want to go past that, the kind of 45-degree angle. And that is really, really important. What does it matter if your knees go forwards? Well, of course, if you are going into a jump or you're coming off a drop and your actual knees collapse in front of your toes, then you are going to have the problem of collapsing into the bike. And really, you should be having a nice structure, so you either follow the curve at the jump, or when you land, you are nice and strong and you allow the bike to take the impact. Quick demonstration of this is just by kind of rolling through and doing the actual pump technique. I want you to go out, film yourself, and just make sure that you are driving into the bike and not collapsing forwards into the bike. So here I'm driving with my knees, I'm collapsing, but as you can see, the bike isn't really doing much. Because of the actual kind of collapse, it's pushing weight onto my hands, and it makes the hands feel really, really heavy and pushes the weight into the front of the bike, which usually is the cause of the front wheel washouts, people who find it really difficult to corner. There's a multitude of reasons where this actual kind of collapse comes in. And not only that, it also straightens you up, which straightens up the arms, which stops you being really dynamic on the trail. So how does it look in the correct position? So now you can see the bike is driving through. It's no hands, just my feet and driving through. There's still that slight knee bend there, but we've got that nice drive into the bike. The heels are pushing through and the bike is compressing, totally balanced, and that's really, really important. And that brings us nicely onto foot positioning. As you can see here, we've got my lovely big foot. So being a little bit toey, and I call this the ballerina stance, where the pedal is quite far forward. This usually comes with people who can ride, who have come into mountain biking from road cycling. And then equally as bad, if you like, is the pedal being right in the sole, so about here. Which way is correct? So what you want to be thinking about is the widest point of your foot wants to be just in front of the central point of that pedal. So just about there. The people with bigger feet, so I'm a size 12, you can afford to come forward just a little bit more. If you've got smaller feet, you want your widest point just in front of the central spindle of that pedal. And this is going to give you a real nice movement on your heel drop. It's going to give you a real nice movement on your toe curl, and it gives you a nice foot bed, so you take away the pressure that goes through the actual ankle bone and the actual calf muscle. Okay, so we've got this nice hinge, nice reset, hands are nice and light, looking forwards, away we go. When you're coming into a feature, it's really important having this position so you're ready for whatever is in front of you. If I'm laid back slightly and I come into this, it's going to pull me down it, which is going to pull the weight forwards, and it's going to feel horrible. We want to make sure the chin is above that stem. We've got a nice D shape, heavy feet. We're looking nice and relaxed, and then we're able to adapt as we need to down the drop. Oh, a bit loose there. Equally, when we come into drops, especially when you are riding steeper terrain for those more advanced riders, you can actually afford to just bring your chin forward slightly. Keep your feet heavy, don't lean forwards. That gives you a little bit more space to really push away. Okay guys, so that was our first episode. I really hope that this will help you, and as I say, please go out there, just go and self-check, make sure that your body position is correct. So just to recap, a nice D shape, get that beach ball, that happy dog, keep that weight in those feet, and remember, those hands nice and light. Little caveat on that is that your hands do need to be kind of dynamic from time to time, but you never want them to be weighted. Keep that weight in the feet, that's what they are designed to do. So if you like this video, please do hit that subscribe button. We're going to be releasing episode after episode and slowly building up into a massive series of techniques, going all the way through core techniques, going into jumps and drops, cornering, and much more. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you out on the trails. Don't forget to visit skillsloop.com for all of your coaching needs, and of course go and grab yourself some Skills Loop merch. Thanks for watching.